He's a smart guy, he really is. My big thing is, I don't know the experience. Okay, it's 7:01, let's call this meeting to order. Everybody can rise for the invocation, pledge allegiance.
Okay, let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, Lord, I just thank you for another day of life, another day that we can meet here as council, as department heads, as community members, to take care of the business of the county. Lord, we just thank you for the blessings that you've given us here in this county and just all the decisions made this evening. Let's glorify your name. It's in Jesus Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Couple people that want to address council, so take the floor.
Good evening, council members. This will be an uncomfortable conversation. We had for nearly 2 years, and I faithfully attended this meeting. You can see over here. I sat quietly, I followed your decorum, I showed respect. And in return, only 2 of you have ever acknowledged my presence or existence with a simple hello. The rest of you treat a drumming like a fire drill, rushing for the door, as avoiding people like me, the public, is part of your job description. Let's not forget, I'm usually the only member of the public sitting in this room. I show up because I care, and yet, a few months ago, I made an honest mistake. I had a pocket knife. No threats, no drama, just a slip up. But instead of one simply speaking to me like a human being, I was pulled out of here by Sheriff Newton like I was some kind of danger to society. Here's the thing, I walked through a county metal detector manned by a sworn law enforcement officer. If a knife made it through, the real question is who actually failed to detect it? Because it wasn't me trying to hide anything. It was a system he put in place that didn't catch it. And now, I hear little whispers about how maybe there's talk of figuring out a way to bargain from these meetings altogether, just like what happened in that library. Let me be crystal clear. If I was any kind of threat, I have every confidence that 7 grown men sitting up here can neutralize me just fine. Let's drop the theater. If you have an issue with me, be an adult, talk to me directly. Don't weaponize security or backdoor politics and try to silence someone just for asking questions. I'm here as a citizen, a father, and a taxpayer, and a veteran who served this country to protect those very rights. I didn't wear the uniform so I could come home and be treated like a disruption for showing up and paying attention. To Councilman Bickley, I challenge you, get your house in order. Leadership isn't about control, it's about accountability and service. To the council members who stayed professional, I appreciate you, and I apologize if my frustrations come up as harsh. But enabling this kind of behavior through silence is part of the problem. Now, on to the budget. When I see departments turning large sums of money to the general fund, it tells me taxpayers' money to county are being overtaxed, plain and simple. I asked this council to go back and review 2018-2019 budgets before COVID, before the federal government started printing funny money to patch things up. Apply reasonable cost of living adjustments, but don't keep inflating the budget year after year on the backs of working families. Also, take a hard look at the nonprofits that were created during COVID and after. Huntington already had a strong nonprofit community. We don't need to keep funneling funds into new groups just because they formed during a crisis. And can we please pump the brakes on commissioner spending? From the outside, it looks a lot like more Democrat-level spending than anything resembling conservative governance. If you say Republican, act like it. That said, I want to end on a strict note. This council, while it might not always be popular, has a real opportunity to set Huntington County up for long-term success. With new fiscal rules and state mandates coming in the next few years, counties across Indiana are going to be scrambling to get their budgets in order. You can make Huntington the model for responsible leadership. Show surrounding county how it's done, not with bloated spending and political favoritism, but with discipline, planning, and accountability. You are representing to represent all of us, not just those who nod and smile. I'll keep showing up, and I'll keep paying attention, and I'll keep holding you accountable. Thank you.
Mike Schemes? No?
Just here to see what goes on.
Oh, okay, you were on the list, so.
Oh, no.
Nope, you don't need to sign in.
I can talk all night.
It's 3 minute limit. Thanks for coming.
Unless you're willing to give money to heart out, I don't have anything to say.
All right, County Council minutes from May 19th. Entertain a motion on that. Motion.
Second.
Brian, second by Brian, all those in favor? Opposed? Next one is Linda Hall, is she in the room? Okay. We have a letter of recommendation for her from the Andrews Downs Township Library. Looks like she's interested and qualified. I'll entertain a motion for that.
Motion to approve the recommendation as presented.
Second.
Brian, Jerry. Discussion, all in favor? Got a pinch hitter, come on up, Chad.
Yes, sir. Good evening, council. You're too tall for Chris.
Hi, Chad.
Yeah, true. So I'm here to ask for additional appropriation for an emergency that we had to deal with. The amount that I'm asking for to pay a bill to FSM is $57,940.29. And I believe that comes out of Fund 1233, the Live Correctional Building Fund.
This is what we talked about last month. This is just a part of a bigger picture. Bill, I don't know if you want to come up and.
Yeah.
Expound
Yeah, this
on
was-
where you're at. I know we.
Yeah, this was part of that emergency repair we had to get over hot water incorporated in jail. And that was the thing that come in and took care of it. So we took care of the first 30,000, 33,000, and then that gets additional.
We're still looking into the other stuff.
Yes, yep. Yeah, we'll be back next month asking for the additional for the fix over there.
Yes, we're still looking at the contractors and stuff though too.
Yeah, yes, yes.
This had to be done. Motion to approve.
Second motion, Commissioner Terry, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, Chad.
Tax abatements.
Hey, Mark.
Good evening. Thank you for having air conditioning. I think a lot of people do. Per resolution 2004-12-20 is adopted on December 19, 2004, extended the tax abatement advisory committee serving entirely in an advisory capacity to the Huntington County Council, met on June 11th in the conference room of Huntington County Economic Development Corporation. As the county had received several compliance forms, CF1, for the consideration of county council, and we should each have received a copy of that information. There are 2 CF1s from commodity blenders, 2 CF1s from docks, crane, and rigging, 1 CF1 from the R&M Terminals Company, which was formerly known as Glavigo Refinery and Marketing. And Heartland REMC's broadband project files utility versions of CF1s and includes copies for each township where investments have been made. All total, the CF1s represent a combined private capital investment of $43,535,917 private investment. The CF1s, as you know, are compliance documents in follow-up to the original abatements that were approved over the years. None of the materials before you tonight represent new or first-time compliance documents. You've seen these before. They've all been found compliant before. Based on the information presented to the committee at the meeting on June 11th, the committee would recommend to County Council that you consider the CF1s from commodity blenders, docks, crane and rigging, and R&M terminals as compliant on the first discussion. Noting once again that none of these are new and were on multiple occasions previously viewed as compliant. Regarding Heartland RNFC and the CF1 the CF1s that were submitted, they were actually incorrectly submitted using last year's investment numbers. The company's CFO left the company within like 3 days of the filing deadline. And so the company did a cut and paste to make sure that a document was filed. The committee contacted the company to point that out, and an addendum should be attached to the materials reflecting the additional investment the company made of $6,136,630 in Lincoln County, bringing their overall project total to $17,478,472 toward their total original projection of $18 million. So they're almost there on their investment number. And with that addendum, the committee then recommends that council go ahead and approve Heartland CF1s as fully compliant as the council has done in the past. Again, all the projects being considered represent a combined total investment of private capital of $535,917. And Councilman Stokely chairs the committee. He was not able to be with us this evening, but extends his support and encouragement as well. Happy to address any questions you might have.
All these companies represent good part of, they're good partnership with the community. Without them, we wouldn't have the economic development that we have. So that makes me think.
Yeah, broadband's been huge, especially for
Absolutely.
out in the country.
Well, and the broadband project, as you know, over the years has been difficult to build out.
Yeah.
It's really difficult to find fiber splicers in the marketplace to hire. So if anybody wants to learn to become a fiber splicer, you can make your salary and move wherever you want to move. But they have continued to work diligently to get this project finished. They had some problems with what are called pole attachment agreements, where you actually go to other power companies in this case, because they had the other utilities having poles that the fiber needs to be attached to.
Stay past the wall in that regard.
And that's exactly why it happened, because Heartland wasn't the only company experiencing that delay. So the legislature took action directly to make that easier for the companies that are building out, and that helped a lot. We also really appreciate the fact that the partnership with the company in working out the property that the county owns down by the annex.
Any other questions on that? You want to do these all together?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Motion to approve. Second by Keith. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Carries. Terry. And congrats on your retirement.
Well, I don't know if we're going to talk about that now or during the HQ.
You can do it during the HU.
Okay, well, hang on.
A lot of time working in your lawn yard now.
That was a joke.
Much appreciated, Mark.
Thank you.
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm Greg, the Health Administrator. We're just asking for a transfer of funds from our Health First Indiana, which is our 1161 fund, from the 11520, which is our public health nurse line. The 3,000 to be moved over into the 1161 32000, which is our advertising line.
So what's the advertising for?
It is, no, it's okay. Wait to ask. We do a lot of advertising with billboards. I actually got a pretty decent deal for it to run for 14 weeks instead of the normal 8. But I had to do it for 2 sections or 2 sessions of it, which is about 5,400. We were short on that amount. So the amount from what we already had in there with this still leaves us about $900 to go ahead and finish out the year. And it's on lead is one of them, and then the other one is like our information, like what we do. A lot of people don't know what the health department does, so it kind of has listing on there. And both of those, one is right now already started as of January 16th. One's out on 24th and Stetzel Road, and the other one is over on Flax Mill and 24th. The one for October that'll run through the end of December is right by the Chevy dealership, right by Dr. Matt's office. That'll be one of them, and then the other one is right down by us, right by the bank there on Jefferson Street. So that'll be the one later on.
So just kind of letting that community know. what
It is,
the
and our lead is actually, last year, we had, at the beginning of the year, we had almost 72 cases of under 1 to 7 year old kiddos anyway, that had high blood lead levels. So with what we've done, working with families and everything else, we've been able to reduce that down. And right now, we're down to about 19, I think it's 18 or 19 anyway. And we do a lot of work with a lot of families, and this is one way that, you know, it's like, hey, get out there, get the kids tested and everything, and it's been working. So we've been able to really reduce the amount of that in kids. So it's well worth it, actually, in that sense. I mean, it's working.
Good. Any other questions?
That's for all three locations.
That's for the 2 locations, but it's 4 boards. So it's two in one, 2 in the other one. So it's actually four times. That's 12 weeks instead of 8. So, but that's the way you have to do it in order to get the deal. Otherwise, it would have been almost 7 grand on the same thing.
Motion by Jamie. Second. Second by Terry. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Brian.
Good evening, all. Well, Hayward, Facilities Director, I have item 7 and 8. This is part of the restructuring we did. And item 7 is transferring money from the sum of $57,215 from facilities management line item and repair maintenance and moving into director of facilities line item.
This is just down to the Donald. That's under the Donald.
Yes, that's all out of the Donald Center.
It's down to the Donald Center. Okay. We talked about that when we did the salary.
Yeah.
Motion to approve. Brian, second by Shane. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And then item 8, again, is a transfer the sum of $33,066.32 out of the courthouse rental fund, moving that out of the part-time line item and the facility manager line item into the cleaning crew. What happened there was we brought Deb that was part-time on full-time.
And it's a different facilities manager you're taking money out of.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's a different, because they're
That's the
titles,
other
they're, one's the Donald, the other's the
Right.
house.
We're gonna restructure it for 2026, but we decided just to leave everything kind of on the same
Sure.
way it was budgeted this year.
Ready to go.
So we just needed this cleaning out there to, take over. I think we were doing some of the COVID money and stuff, and then
Yeah, that's all gone, obviously, and then we brought Deb was doing, the health department, the South Bend accident, working there. And don't get your
This was just to make the employees that are doing this more flexible and more, that they can, wherever is needed instead of that one location.
thanks, guys.
And that was through complement.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Second.
Brian, second by Brian. So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Thank you so much.
Rob's not here, he's down in Chicago. Do you want to talk about this one?
Sure. So basically, a couple years ago, we decided, well, we didn't have the health tax rate anymore. It was not part of the budget.
4-H tax.
Yes, that's, sorry, 4-H tax rate, got removed during the budget. And so there was a decision made both by the council and by the commissioners to, going forward, make an appropriation to pay the 4-H through the money in lieu of reinstating a tax rate for it. So, we budgeted last year for it, and the money, did not get, encumbered at the end of the year to pay last year's share. So when we paid last year's share at the beginning of this year, it absorbed the appropriation for 2025. So, with an encumbrance, you just move that appropriation forward, so it's really the same effect as an addition. So we're just asking you to go back and reappropriate. It is the same money. It was money saved on last year's budget, it wasn't spent. And so we're carrying it forward into this year, so that we can pay.
That makes sense. 4-H is a great program. You know, I mean, one better way to spend $15,000 on kids with 4-H. So I make that motion.
So the 4-H, we had a tax levy, which was basically an automatic payment. This forces them to basically go before the commissioners, get that approved, make sure that we know where that money's going, it's just not an auto check.
Right.
So I like that, I'm disappointed that it didn't get taken care of last year, or maybe.
I have reminded
Yeah.
them, they had to change of staff to their defense,
So we just need to make sure that that doesn't happen again. So, and I've got a motion from Terry. Is there a second?
Second.
Right, any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Hello. All right, so just wanted to, I guess, a couple things. I do have an update of the extension office as well as talk to you about a transfer. So, so the request to transfer is for $1,800 from our line item that's for clerical. In the past, some years we hired like a summer assistant type person. We haven't done that, and so this year, so the ladies that are full time are working more hours, and so that's why we need to transfer the dollars from that clerical line item to there's only $1,000 in the overtime, and so that's where that transfer is being requested. I can tell you just a little bit more about 4-H if you'd like me to. Sure. Just so the numbers for 2025, JP Petrowski is actually, one of the numbers he mentioned was that there's more kids signed up for out-of-county 4-H trips, and that's where he's at tonight. He's at the 4-H roundup in Lafayette, where they explore career opportunities for a couple days with kids. So he's got, there's 28 kids who participated in those out-of-county trips. Last year there were 17, so we got more kids who are participating in that. He's at camp this month and also done some other things on Purdue campus with like I guess STEM type things, type work with teaching kids. So those out-of-county trips have increased. But the main things to talk about here are the 4-H is growing. We have mini 4-H, 151, traditional 4-H, 681, total 4-H youth right now, 832 kids. Compared to last year, there was 811 in 4-H, and for a 2-year increase, you go back to 2023, that's a 10%. There was 753 kids, so the numbers are growing. One of the things that has worked really well is that it's a program called the Classroom to Clover with third graders, and they continually increase the schools that are participating in that, and they're hoping to have every school involved with that next year. So that's been a help. There's been 175 participants and 52 mini 4-H participants with a new thing this year they did. So they're keep building that program. For a total of 227 youth from 3 elementary schools, and again next year it'll be expanded to hopefully all schools, they can get all the volunteers and the details worked out with that. But that's the plan. So JP is again doing well with these programs, getting more kids involved in different projects. It's poster projects, a lot of things what the kids are doing in the schools. That's a update on what 4-H is. Again, it is growing in the county, so I did want to make that. And so the overtime is in regards to 4-H fair, because we have such a huge amount of activities in a small number of days for the ladies. So it's, in other words, they have to, coordinate project judging, and then also with the recording grades and everything like that. So that's where the time, a lot of time is spent with that type of thing. That's why we're requesting the transfer. So.
What a great way to keep 832 kiddos' minds occupied and stirred up.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. So, I do have more things to talk about. I didn't want to highlight 4-H first.
No, absolutely, go ahead.
If you want me to go ahead, I can hand out, we do have the community leadership program. Ryan, you can start those down if you would. We've got that program that's continuing. Last year, well, I should say last year, we just finished it in May, but we had 14 participants in that program. And so this year, we're accepting applications until July the 11th. What it is, it's from September to once a month, September through May, and we encourage people that are looking to step up their leadership, getting more involved with not just not-for-profit boards, but also just committees and different, and so that's what we found is that this year, several of the members talked about how they increased their leadership by their participation. And so you can see the list of things that they're involved with. And we're partnering again with the community foundation. Matt Ditzler is, and then there's if there's a need, we have been able to provide, Matt has been able to provide scholarships through the community foundation, through his work there. So it's been a great partnership for Extension and the community foundation. And then one thing that's really neat is we've got increased in our committee that plans this. So, our steering committee it's the ladies that participated, they eagerly wanted to participate to help plan it for next year. So we're growing the program in that regard too. Hopefully get 15 to 20 to sign up is what our goal is. So if you know people, we'd really like for you to spread the word. And this is a great opportunity, we feel like, for people to expand their knowledge and build their skills in leadership.
We're trying to get them
Yeah, I appreciate that.
in. We're trying to get them in this year.
We cover the whole county too. We had Warren, Andrews, Markle, we hit all these different locations. Mark Payne spoke and we were in Markle at that point. He took us for a little tour of the economic development. So that's just an example. It's really changing. We evolved it to really get people more energetic about the community and that type of thing. So, but the other thing the ag side, I work a lot with doing field surveys now. Been engaging with Huntington University. They've got a young man there that's working as a field crops intern, and so he and I are going out in the fields. He took the Purdue course so then I'm helping him we're going to different farmer fields and taking soil samples and labor do tissue sampling, that type of thing. So building that relationship with Huntington University Ag. So that's been a great thing this month. Just happened this month, just really getting that going. And we also have a workshop tomorrow with the Northeast Purdue Ag Center. We got 25 people coming for that for commercial ag. So a lot of activities this month in extensions.
Great. No other questions or comments? I'll entertain a motion on the transfer.
So moved.
Keith? Second, Brian. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thanks, Ed. Appreciate it.
Thank you all.
See you. Good job, Ed.
a loan to probation officer. So fun fact about 4-H, I don't know if anybody saw today, but a past 4-H youth rescued a runaway horse on horseback that had been crossing highways, and so averted like a tragedy. So I thought that was cool. I did it. So I have two things. So item 12, I have a transfer appropriation from our JDAI fiscal year 24-25 grant. We are just moving some money around into the grant cycle. Our grant ends June 30th of this year. It's a fiscal year grant. So we're moving money from food, contracts, dues and subscriptions, and miscellaneous services to supplies.
Oh, they're all supplies, okay, so.
Yeah.
So what are the supplies?
So the supplies, so anytime we need to move money around in our JDI grant, the funding comes from the Department of Corrections. And we have to write a grant amendment and submit it for approval. So it's not just us deciding to play with money. We actually have to get approval. So the supplies, we had some problems with our grant this year. One of them was with a very successful program we had last year, which was truancy mediation. So when youth are referred to probation for truancy referrals, instead of taking them through the court system, it's a status offense, it's not a delinquent offense, we built a program where we had mediators trained through Boys and Girls Club, through ECR, which is Education for Conflict Resolution. And it's a company out of Wabash County in Manchester. And Wabash has had great success with this program. So we took our truancy referrals down to nothing last year. The schools loved it. Everybody thought it was a great program. It was a lot of success. We didn't file near the truancy referrals in the court system. But legislation last year changed what is considered an excused absence. So it went from, with the school system, you could only have a number of, even if a parent called you in, absences before it became a truancy referral. So as of July 1st of last year, if a parent called a student in, that was an excused absence, nothing could be done with it. A child could have 150 call-ins by a parent without a doctor's note, and that was considered okay. There's new legislation coming into play this year, and hopefully that will solve that problem. But it took our truancy mediation program from this, where we used all the money, to we had one referral, and that was it. And I think it was an online school. So we needed to move that money with our DOC grant. They want us to spend the money. They don't want it. So we transferred it to supplies, and those supplies will go to Boys and Girls Club, YSD, and JROTC, through Bobby Blair's program. We've been partnering with him on some mentorship things. So, you know, feminine hygiene items, those are always in great supply. People need those. We do regulation kits, we do snacks, and some wish list items from JROTC to help fund, because, you know, as we all know, a lot of us spend our own money as well. You know, teachers, directors, like Boys and Girls Club, you know, we buy a lot of deodorant. You know, kids at that age, they just sometimes can't afford it, toothbrushes, toothpicks. So we just fund what they tell us that they need. So that's where that extra supply money is going towards.
Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Motion approved. Second. Second by Keith. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
So item 13, we're requesting to appropriate our fiscal year 25-26 grant through JDAI that is coming through, that begins on July 1st. And that'll be Fund 9668. We unfortunately do not have a breakdown of what those line items will be. DOC sends us, it's we input everything monthly, and they break down how the money is broke down by line. So something I might consider a dues and subscription, they may consider a service contract or professional contract. It's all in the same series, it'll be in the 300 series, but I can't just guess into what that is. So we will get that after July 1st. We know the breakdown between series, we know that, but we don't know each line item. And I've spoken to Jill about it, and we need to appropriate the money because we start spending, right away in July.
But just to clarify, you have to appropriate this grant to continue to run this program,
Yes.
and that's what you're doing.
The DLGF requires us to advertise the amount that's gonna be spent for the addition to the budget appropriation for the fund. So we went ahead and did that to be in compliance. And, because they spell out the grant terms, we have to follow those. We thought that was a safe way that we'll work together later to designate where the money goes.
Sometimes I rephrase things so it makes sense, what we're doing, and you just
Absolutely.
basically, you're appropriating the grant money, which has to be done to continue running this program. It's been a successful program. So,
Yes.
Yes.
So the amount on the agenda is correct at the 99,880, and that's what matches the spreadsheet. The front page says 98,880, so I want to make sure
It's 90.
it's 99,880.
Yeah.
So let's make sure we
Look at it correctly.
Derek,
Yeah,
motion for the 99,880.
that's correct.
Second.
I'll second.
Ryan? Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, how are you? I'm Shelley Sefton, the county clerk. I'm here to transfer some money from my election that was budgeted for this year. We didn't have to have a special election, so I'm requesting out of very different accounts that it goes into an equipment account. Our election panels for our election machines are at their life and they're 20 years old. The state of Indiana is dealing with this problem. They're wanting to implement new panels into all of our machines. So one of the things that I thought is I could bring the $74,780, put it in the equipment line, and then encumber it into next year when I request the cost of the new machines is $204,851.43. And that will allow me to just have to ask for $130,071.43. Microvote is working with us to incorporate this over a couple of years. They want to get machines ordered in August or September so they don't get into a lot of the cost increase, and it'll keep us at that rate, even with giving them two payments, one at the end of this year and then one for 2026. So, do you have any questions about them?
How long is this equipment going to last us then?
Oh, hopefully another 20 years.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought
Yeah.
it was pretty significant
And yes,
capital.
It is, and two, in these new panels, or, we have increased security, different things, even the green screen, with people not being able to see what other people, if they walk by. There's a lot of great, things about this, and then also too, grant money that we've got for new voting, boxes along with the BB pass. That was all grant money, but this incorporates into that. So it's the same company, they're adaptable and it's been tested, so.
As I recall, this has been a conversation, we knew this was coming.
Yeah, we knew this was coming, yes.
Is there any other grants for any of this remaining?
Grants are pretty much,
Trying to-
yeah.
So you're just gonna put it in the next year's budget, then the remainder?
Yes, I am. So you'll hear me give this speech again.
Let's help us.
Yes,
And by speaking up early, you'll get the price locked.
Yes, and he said the only thing that might affect the price, and he doesn't believe it's going to, but he has to put that disclaimer, is tariffs. You know, that's something that is very, you know, crucial to a lot of things right now, but where it's coming from, he doesn't feel like it's what he wants.
With no equipment, do you
Yes.
foresee additional training or any other training, or is it gonna be?
We have already seen the new equipment, so yeah, so we've already,
seamless?
yes,
You're predicting seamless?
yes, seamless, yes.
Warranty coming with these products?
Oh yeah, yes, they're wonderful with backing up their product. Some of the counties that implemented the, machine or the panels earlier than they had to, they had no problems at all. So,
Did your homework?
yes,
Price will go down.
Thank you. Thank you.
yes.
Motion to approve. Second.
Keith beat you.
Okay, Keith.
All those in favor?
Right.
Brian and then Keith.
Thank you.
Thanks. Shane.
Okay, this one, I'll just go ahead and deal with this one. So this is through the EMS lift, so this is the portion of the supplemental distribution that the state put out. This is essentially a pass-through to Parkview for our EMS services.
So this is the additional money.
Yeah, this is basically received it, we'll pass that through as part of our contract with Parkview to provide EMS service to.
Yeah, this covering the additional lift that we received.
Yep.
So make a motion to approve that.
Second by Jamie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We're reviewing this.
I just wanted to have a discussion at this point, I guess,
So I kind of went through
of the
this.
existing ordinance.
Yeah, so I kind of went through in column, the right column, where we changed it to back in 2022. Went through that with one of the budget workshops that we did at the end of the meeting. Essentially, the expenditure rate, total rate is 1.95, which is right at the middle of what everybody else is doing. Breakdowns are all over the place if you look at the state level, but, you know, this seems to work, I guess, for everybody.
Actually, if you look at the rural counties, we've been proud
Better than a lot
of the rural counties. So,
basically, the certified share is 1.12, 0.25 of that is shared with the school corporation. The balance is only shared with townships, the library, and ourselves, the city. Public safety is 0.25, which goes to the county, the city, the towns. And then that other 0.1 is what we use for the combined dispatch, public safety access, which is combined dispatch.
this is gonna change a lot. We're gonna do that.
It will, and then economic development, 0.25, geotax, my favorite, 0.2, and then 0.03 that we just talked about for EMS services, makes out that 1.95, so.
So since things are very calendar driven for initiating new rates, I just wanted to put this in front of you
Yeah.
as a reminder, and if there's any concerns that we may have, some of
I
the
think by
want to make
August.
changes, I need to start laying that out.
I think by August, right?
Yeah, and I guess I don't understand why they do it before budget hearings, because you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
Until you do the budget hearings and you flush through all the budgets and everything else, so.
I mean, this was adopted in October of 22, so I mean, it was right after the budget adoption.
And part of that was, yeah, and
Yeah.
part of that was just because we were still trying to figure out the legalities of it. There was a lot of confusion.
Just didn't want to wait too long to put it in front of you.
No, yeah, I guess for me, I'm definitely not interested in raising it. I think with what's coming in 2 years, we'll stay conservative and see.
I don't think you have the numbers to be able to even speak to it, so.
started 2023 actually.
Proposal 22,
Yeah.
23.
Yeah, 2023, so we're on the vacation. Keith made a motion.
Who did, Keith?
Keith made a motion to keep the same distribution.
I'd second that.
Second by Terry. Any other discussion, big questions, Jamie? Okay, all right.
I just want to make sure I was clear on you.
Yep, yeah, this is really. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay. All right, so, item 17.
Good afternoon, Stephanie Darius, HR Director. So we had John class a couple weeks ago, maybe last week, and one of the items that we discussed was the soil and water office manager. Currently, she is paid from two different funds. She gets paid $17.05 from the commissioners, and then she gets paid currently $1.31 from soil and water. Adam Couch reached out to me probably a month ago, and they had some money in their budget, and they would like to see her rate increase. We took it to job class. They can pay with what they've got left in their current budget, $2.38 per hour, versus $1.31, which would bring her up to a total of $19.43 per hour.
You were in it, right?
You guys are good with that? Oh, yeah.
And does this put this kind of in line?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's one of those-
it's one thing to have the money, it's another to make sure that we're.
It's one of those things where, you know, if no one asks, they don't get, and we felt that this position had not asked for anything in a long time. And what she's done and how long she's been in that position, it was an easy decision.
Okay. Motion.
And we have also found that this would be effective as of yesterday, so that we can initiate it immediately.
Yeah, they wanted it as soon as they could get it for her, so.
All right, well, there's nothing on that, we get all sorry, we got open first, so, is there any other questions before we open that? So, Peyton's not here to open the salary ordinance, so.
Motion.
Jamie, second. Terry, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, so, the proposed wage increase of 1836 to 1943 retroactive to June 22nd, 2025. That amount will be covered, the additional amount will be covered by the soil and water, right? Okay. Keith made that motion, second by Jamie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nothing else?
Motion to close the salary.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Deb.
So Warren Public Library, this is just discussion rather than business.
Yes, this is something that will have to be advertised, just like ours would need to be, transferred additional for the Warren Public Library. They'll be coming in next month to officially do this. Just wanted to bring it to your attention and address any questions that you have. Yeah, it has to do with an elevator project that they want to do. I don't know, Terry, if you want to shed any additional information.
The library director had contacted me, and they've been working on this for over a year. The elevator was not working, and he did his due diligence and called, 2 or 3 companies and got quotes, and of course, because they do a binding review through us, to repair this would be over their percentage that they're allowed, their operational budget. So they need to get basically our blessing to do that. They have the money that they've, pulled from other sources and other accounts to be able to fix it. Now they'd like to go ahead and fix that, so they're asking for our blessing.
And because it goes over a certain threshold, correct?
That's what it does. Their board voted it and approved it, obviously, but it still needs to be kind of.
Anytime any of those go over a certain amount, we have to.
Well, that's only gone on for a couple, 3 years. I mean, that's only been going on for like, what, 3 years?
Yeah, this is the first time, this is the first time anybody's gone over that threshold.
Right, even the Huntington Library has to do the same thing. If they go over on their operational budget, if they go over a wish I had the percentage right in front of me, but I don't have it. So, might be, because this is this one-time spend that actually goes over, takes them over to the way they do their accounting. And he talked with the ELGF down at the state and everything, and Jill a couple times, right? Jill, making sure that we were doing the right thing. And she called as well to make sure that all of our ducks were around.
I think it would be helpful, like at least for me, I'd like to see pictures. Everybody knows what they're talking about. I don't know.
And this is a repair, correct?
Yes.
It's a remodel, upgrade,
But it's, pictures worth 1,000 words.
They did, yeah.
See what we're talking about here, and numbers are numbers, but just to kind of see what they're.
And I think he can bring pictures and show you what had to be done in the project, or even a receipt, or even an estimate, if you will, of the repair. Jill, maybe you mentioned to him the estimate. And he may already have thought of that, so.
But yeah, I mean, that would be helpful, for sure. Okay. Well, let's have a vote on that. Is there anything else that would do with the whole business? Any corrections, Terry, or Brian?
Yeah, today's meeting, I attended today's meeting. You know, obviously, Community Corrections is very concerned with, I don't think anybody's here, because of the grant. This is totally, Community Corrections is run totally by grants, right? And so, with the worry of some of these grants going away, and so they're looking at all types of different other grants to try to fund their programs. So that's the concern right now, is to continue to be able to, you know, help people through these community corrections. Now, I will speak up and I'll say, I believe these programs have been successful in a lot of ways. Your numbers in your jail seems to, you know, kind of.
The numbers are way down.
The recidivism rate has decreased. So it surely on appearance, it looks like these programs are working, okay? And so in that, you're saving money from having, you know, less people in the jail. And so they're trying to attempt to throw some of those numbers together and do a presentation to us and the commissioners. So just to shorten it, numbers are home detentions are 56. There's a scram cam, which has to do with alcohol monitoring. There's 8 of those. Work release program, they're at 18, which is about 56% of the capacity. Pretrial services at 112. And then I believe the drug court has 14 participants at the present time. And all that again adds up to you know, getting people away from the element that got them in the first place, and it seems to be working. So that's my report on the community corrections, and I hope that you know, they've talked a couple of times about coming to us to see if we can give them any help, and I said, well, I don't know where this money's going to come from, right? And even though
the other side of that too, the reason the state's doing it is because the state, that's still saving them money.
Yes, sir.
They need to help invest in that. We've got 135, it's looked up, we've got 135 in the jail right now, probably 30 of those, like federal courts, we're at 105, which is.
It's phenomenal, it's phenomenal.
Much better than.
Yeah, the program's great, but the state's not.
The state, our association, the Indiana County Council Association, which I'm going to bring up later, is still pushing hard for the state to possibly take over more parts of the courts. Okay, and they know it. Even Chairman Thompson said, "Yeah, you're probably right. We should be funding a lot more of that." They know it, you know, and so we're going to continue to put pressure on them to take over everything from probation to, you know, to
it's a significant part,
you know,
for sure.
So your association behind that all the way, and I think the AIC, Association of Indiana Counties, is also on it. So,
But we'll know the big picture now. We just remember the state's going to decide as counties to start holding felons to say there's.
My favorite
Their
DOC.
Yeah, favorite DOC. So it's kind of this in the same, but I'll move on. You got it, great.
Yeah, Chris.
Yeah.
Let's close 3 facilities and open up 92.
Yeah.
Great math. So anyway, so, Brian, you got anything else?
Yeah, as you know, 6-8 months ago, we went from multiple facilities to one location. The committee asked Mr. Husband to kind of get some numbers, kind of hot times, low times. We're closed on Wednesdays, open on Saturday mornings. And he gave us data on every single hour of every single day for the month of May. There is no, it's as erratic, there's no hot day, there's no busy day. All I know is that there were 2,325 people that visited that recycling center in the month of May. So 100 to 150 a day. And it's cut down on the trash.
Well, 100%. We're pleasing some trash.
Yeah, so there's no trash. So that was the positive of last month. That's what I have for that.
Good, that's good. I hate the fact that we gotta have somebody to make sure people are told to slip whatever. Start.
And I was not here for just a second, on the 3A regional, commissioners actually asked me to set in on this meeting because they had their regional meeting at the Huntington County Library. So that was a great meeting. They brought a couple experts in on housing again, which maybe that's why Tom asked me to go sit in on that. And there's a lot of things that are being done to try to attract housing to rural communities, okay? Because at present development rates and everything else, it's not coming on its own as part of the market. So there's things we can do, even employers can help us to attract and maybe get some buildings started, which there's some things going on. So it was a good meeting.
Anything on Way Shane usually meet today?
They don't meet in June or July.
Oh, okay.
Other 10 months we.
Like I said, it's got out of Works West. Of course, we've got that new sign out there and so forth, but just kind of a review of history of where we've been and where we've come with the Works West out there.
Emergency management, Keith, anything?
No, I didn't know.
Anything on plan commission?
We had a planning commission meeting. We had 2 dockets, one on a housing subdivision out in Union Township, 40 acres for about 15 homes, 2 and 3 acre lots out there. That plat for that subdivision was approved, and then the second docket was a docket along, what is it, 900 there. There was some ag ground that they want to change to general business. That was a unanimous decision to recommend to the commissioners to approve from ag to general business.
Where is that at?
We're back behind it.
No, it's actually on out 900 a little bit.
It is on.
North or
Yeah.
south?
No, Roanoke. Yeah.
Oh, Jackson past the
Sorry.
flood
I
zone.
thought you said-
Yeah,
Thanks for them.
yep, 900 north, yep.
On the Union Township Housing Addition, how's the wastewater sanitation and everything? Do they know what they're gonna do? Are they gonna be on?
The drainage?
Yeah.
The drainage was looked at by a firm that they hired, as well as our own people here at the courthouse. And they had 3 or 4 items that they needed to take care of. And if they take care of those, then that would be a full recommendation.
Okay. And each house will be on its own septic system and well?
Yes, yes, yeah, 2 and 3 acre parcels, 15 homes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything on the Cedar Advisory Committee? Mark, would you like to do a issue update? Sure. Since you're here.
Since I'm here and you're happy. Well, the easy part is that last board meeting, we talked about having completed 7 projects year to date. Those companies have invested over $24 million of their own capital. That puts my career 18-year impact at 197 projects, totaling $845 million in capital invested in our county. Our RFI pipeline for both the IEDC, such as it is, and the Northeast Regional Partnership have accounted for 29 new RFIs that have submitted responses for that are considering our county. On our finance report, our charitable gift income is on track to meet year-end budget goals, and several of the service contract payments from municipalities have already been received, including the counties, so thank you. Terry mentioned the Lime City Committee meeting at Windfork West. Our next meeting will be at the city's water plant on the south side of the community. We thought that would be interesting given the discussions that the city's going through on investing in new water infrastructure. We thought it'd be a good idea to see what is actually an issue. Yeah, see the old. Also, we hosted Chris Kellner from BCS Management Group, who they conducted and he presented the findings of the electrical capacity report.
That's the one we passed out at the last meeting. He did a really good job of running through it.
What was the date of your last meeting for the water?
The Lime City, where's that? When's that?
When's the next meeting?
August 8th, I think. It changed because of a couple of things to make sure that we could actually be at the water plant. So I think it's the 8th. Is that a Friday?
August 8th is a Friday.
Okay, so that's.
I haven't received an
No,
invitation
there haven't
yet,
been
so.
invitations yet.
August or July?
August. Yeah, normally would have been, it would have fallen during the 4-H fair. So we had to do it a little bit anyway, the first time in August, we considered, so anyway, August 8th. And then we approved a contract with the Northeast Indiana Partnership in collaboration with the county, the city, and HQ. It's a $15,000 contract. The county paid 5, the city paid 5, and HQ taking 5 on our budget. So it's 1/3 of each for the year. There are plenty of ways to have accountability written in the contract and so forth, and plenty of ways to get out of the contract if anybody's not happy. And then, okay, on a more direct kind of emotional note, sort of, I had informed our executive officers, at our meeting on May 13th, that I'm finishing up 18 years in the position at HQ, and that there wouldn't be year 19. So, and it was totally absolutely no drama, absolutely my voluntary decision. My wife just retired after 42 years of teaching at Lincoln University, and it's interesting for me to learn that she has 6 Saturdays in a week. I mean, this looks fun. So we're looking forward to spending some time together, traveling, and doing the honeymoon list and that kind of thing. But I told the board that although no ending date specifically has been established, my thought is that the date would be no later than October 1st. But, you know, if the board finds somebody new and that gets accelerated, I am happy to hand the keys in and help anybody transition or whatever I can do to be helpful. And if they haven't found anybody by October 1st, I'm happy, I'm not gonna let the thing sit there without, I mean, there's work to be done and it's important work and I'll help in any way I can. But again, it's been my honor to serve as a director over those years. Everybody involved, at the county, city, local, when we're working with employers, again, we've been able to facilitate 197 industrial investments representing over $844 million in our communities. And those investments impacted nearly 3,500 jobs. And it's just incredible to think about. Other key successes, in my opinion, include the creation of the Windfork West Industrial Park, which was something that our community has kind of dreamed about for 35 years. And we finally were able to get something organized, and we're lucky in the very first year of owning the property that Tijen purchased 30 acres and invested $110 million in the park. We also worked through, and Brian was there with us a little time, while working to have the Marco Industrial Park mature to where it is today. We're all proud of that work. It started with a couple of farmers and a couple of option agreements and a lot of hard work. A lot of interesting discussions about how you make the water and sewer work. I mean, just you name it, we went through it and we got there together and we're still smiling and the results look good. And then finally, I guess, one of the employer attraction projects that I thought was really significant was the attraction of Asian. They're now our largest manufacturing employer in the county. And that was a project that was slated for another state. We were able to win it every year. And in the process of all of that, I was going through some research today, and at the risk of knowing that Kendall literally knows more about the county math than anybody in the state of Indiana, we knew that, but we really saw that in reality from SB1. But if I'm not mistaken, as I look through the ELGF reports of your certified lit seated reports from 2008 forward, only on the economic development portion, we're up 66% in that time frame. And the rate that you guys talked about tonight, 0.25%, has never changed during my tenure. So it's not that you're not raising the tax. More people are earning more money and paying in as a result of all sorts of things, obviously the employers that are involved. But it shows that we've got good results in the process.
What was the empty building space? Because I was involved in the committee when
When I was hired, first of all, I thought it was absolutely nuts, because 63% of our existing industrial buildings were vacant. And
now we're buying farm ground.
And now we're growing, we're down to 2%. And as the rate has dropped, we've added square footage. So the baseline has gotten bigger as the percentage of vacancy has dropped. So it's really been a successful endeavor. But it's not just me. One of the things that we've talked about together as a group is just how important it is that when I do have a client that comes before county government, I mean, you've rolled out the red carpet, you've treated them with courtesy and respect, you've celebrated what they're wanting to invest in our county. We realize that they can invest anywhere. They don't have to pick Huntington, and yet we've done our best to encourage those investments and forward.
I believe that, Mark, I wish you would stick around for a billion, to get the billion, Mark. But in all seriousness, Mark, the community owes you a great thanks and gratitude for the work you've done over these past few years. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you've done for us and for the community of Huntington. And you're going to be missed. But enjoy your retirement, and we hope that you'll be around so we can consult with you here and there and so forth.
No, I live around corner from Jamie. The pressure is on to make sure the house looks better.
Okay.
Well, you came a little too low.
Yeah, I know.
It up a little bit.
You still got the pool, right?
I still got it.
Maybe like 6 months.
Yeah, well, it's a 4 foot.
That's to his knees.
But I appreciate the work you've done personally for me, both, on the county council to keep me informed, keep me educated on what's happening in the community, but also from the business side, I worked for a couple of different businesses in Huntington and March, my first phone call, helping me kind of navigate, hey, so we're looking, these are our first cheerleaders, say, hey, I'm just here. It's great that you guys are excited about your expansions or whatever you're trying to do, and it helps us navigate, in these cases, with city council. So it's been great. It makes it easy. Obviously, the city council has been great to work with as well. As Mark can attest to as well.
Appreciate the questions about it.
You got any rising stars that you know of? It would be.
Well, I'll say this, I'm trying to stay out of that discussion until asked, okay?
There is a committee.
There is a committee, Eric Fawcett chairs the
Yeah,
committee.
there's a committee.
Tom Wall represents the county on the committee. The mayor's on the committee representing the city.
Troy Johnson's on
You interested, Jamie? Oh, okay.
Plenty of it.
So, yeah, Troy Johnson's on.
Like, I think what I've learned being on HQ there for a few years, and the importance of having a director for economic development. Having that go-to person who knows who, what, where, why, how, 100%. And to facilitate that, I wouldn't say the deal, but to get that economic development to fruition in moments. Moments.
I think there are a lot of things going forward that, you know, whoever comes next, what I hope they don't find is who was it, Mike Davis that follows Bob Knight. You don't want that. You want Bob Knight there, on the bench, right behind you, helping you the whole time. And that's what I hope to be able to do, is just, because there's over 18 years of study. You know, the typical Lido works 4 years and goes on. So it's been unusual, and it'll be very unusual if we're able to keep that kind of continuity in the future. It's because my wife's from the county, I live in the county, we live here, we're rooted here. Our son went to Huntington North, he went to Huntington University, and we both are Huntington University alums. And so we're rooted in the community. I wouldn't have done this job in any other county. And that is something to ask whoever is interviewed, frankly, are you willing to live in the county where you're working?
Yeah.
Are you willing to pay property taxes in the county where you're working?
I advocate for Huntington like Mark Lucas.
Well, I mean, your main house can't spare everything, but it's like, you know, as I look around my colleagues around the region, in the state, it's unusual for the Lido to be anchored in it's hard work, and a lot of people know him. It's like that. Steve Platt and I, remember Steve, we had a conversation one morning at breakfast. It's like, okay, everybody in town knows how to win that ball game Friday night that we lost by 3 points. Yeah, yeah, everybody in town knows how to win that game. Everybody else knows how to do economic development better than I do. So we both had a lot of commiserating together. Because there's just a lot to learn, there are a lot of things, but at the end of the day, if you find that service mentality, I think, and somebody that understands you're kind of the agency stamps on the door, it's not yours. You're not self-employed. You've got a balance of working for the companies and yet the taxpayer, exactly. And that's an important balance. So, anyway, with that,
but thank you very much.
Thank you.
I wanted to do that. So somebody else gets to do the CF1s next year.
Although they don't find anybody.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
Are you giving out Wix pies to everybody for party?
I gotta tell you, Overhill Manor, right, the movie that Forrester Films has been shooting, starring John Rhys Davis, who was Sala in the Indiana Jones movies, and he played Gimli in the Lord of the Rings movies. I don't know what else he's done, but his voice is absolutely distinctive. If you've ever heard his characters, that is his natural voice. What are these pies? I said, you know what? I got a case of white sugar cream pie and pecan pie, and no, pecan pie sounds colonialist to me. I'm not sure where I want that. But I have to give him a
Which pie?
which pie, yeah.
The best deal of the six.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much.
Thank you.
Probably nothing for ABCD, right, Keith? Nothing for that, tax abatement we already covered. Anything on the one?
Meet in July.
Anything on the commissioner?
August.
August meeting. We did have combined dispatch a week after the last meeting, in digital, looking to move from AT&T to digital. It's like they should have been done, he said, by the end of May. I just reach out to him and find out, but that should have been done, not like get fiber instead of copper. So, lots of other improvements being done, the rest of the phone system, looking to do that in the next couple of months. You know, the radios, lots of newer and better equipment, it seems like every time you sell it, new stuff, so. Balancing, they did find a couple of candidates, trying to get fully staffed, everybody has a problem, so just trying to get fully staffed there, but otherwise, things are going well for over there. That's all I got on that. Internal controls, we got a meeting tomorrow, that's the board accounts.
Possibly Thursday, I haven't heard from the other
Thursday
commissioner
meeting.
yet, but
Okay.
they
So
arrive
Thursday
today.
morning, she can send out, I have to go, but if you guys want to come. It's 15 minutes, it's the opening meeting for that, on that, and redevelopment, anything.
We had a mandatory meeting to declare that there was no excess TIF in our districts. We had to have this for a reason.
Anything out tomorrow?
Nothing.
Okay, nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second by Brian, all in favor?
Aye.
Everybody, have a nice day for the day, I have some things to be signed.